Joining me now, Colonel Bree Fram of the U.S. Space Force. She is appearing on the show in her personal capacity, and her views are her own. Colonel Fram, thank you very much for coming to the Saturday show. You told one of my producers that, quote, I'm quoting you to you, I will do everything I can until the very last day to stay until I am able to. How difficult has it been for you since the Pentagon's announcement on Wednesday?
Well, I am absolutely heartbroken on behalf of not only the thousands of transgender service members that have been serving honorably and with distinction for nearly a decade, but also on behalf of our nation. What's going to happen is going to impact our national security today, tomorrow, and far into the future, because so many of us are in those senior leadership positions where millions of dollars has been invested in us. We are capable, we are competent, and we are ready at all times. And we are the ones not only executing the mission, but also training the people who are going to carry out that mission far into the future.
Colonel Fram, what does this mean then? Well, what could this mean for recruitment into the armed forces?
We have to understand that policy changes don't just affect the service members that they are directly tied to. This affects people that we have served with, that know that we have had their backs for a decade and that we have shown our competence to. They all of a sudden see a hole in their office, a hole in their unit manning. That's an issue for more than just us. It also affects families. It affects people that are thinking about joining the military. With about 30% of Generation Z adults, our prime recruiting age population, identifying as LGBTQ, that's a huge concern as we look to make sure that we have enough ready and able people to do the needs of this nation.
Colonel Fram, the memo from the Pentagon allows a waiver for service members willing to detransition, and that they must show 36 months of stability, I'm quoting here, in sex assigned at birth. I am sorry I even had to read that because it's so insulting. But does that waiver even give trans people a real option to stay in the military, to continue to serve their country?
No, based on the clause that says if it's in the national security interest, it then goes on to add 3 additional pieces, one of which you just read. And the other is that you have never attempted to transition. So you had to get a waiver. The only way to do so is basically never to have been trans. You may have mentioned it 3+ years ago, but then never sought any medical care related to transition. So it is absolutely not an option for anyone who is transgender and currently serving.
Final question for you, Colonel Fram. Come Monday morning, you're going to go. What's your Monday morning going to be like? Do you go to work?
I'm going to do my job. Every day I treat as a gift. I get to lace up my boots and I get to go work with some of the finest Americans who have ever served, as do thousands of other transgender service members. They are doing amazing things here at home station and deployed all around the world in the most difficult places they can be. And they have proven just how capable they are. And that is going to be no different on Monday as it was a month ago, a year ago, or it would be far into the future would we have the opportunity to continue serving.
I'm going to give you your flowers. You are Colonel Fram. You are the first trans woman promoted to colonel and one of the highest ranking trans officers in our military. 22 years of service. I thank you very much for your service and for coming on the Saturday show. Colonel Bree Fram, thank you.